I'd like to call upon John Noonan.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Second Ward Democratic Club for giving us the opportunity to at least express our views and what we feel we can do for the city of Oneida. Happily, I can say I'm not from Bay Way. I was born and raised in the Fort. You're probably one of the few. Maybe there's a few around here. I attended St. Patrick's Grammar School in high school. I graduated in the class of 1958. I'm married to the former Mayor McCormick. Some of you may know, one person at least I know. And for the past 28 years, I have 3 children, 3 adult children, all at college now. Some time ago, I considered running for council in the 3rd Ward. That was 22 years ago, and I considered the time that it was going to take. My children were young, and I decided, no, I'd rather raise my family first and then become active in what the city needs. I think we're all in agreement that crime is the #1 concern, whether it's down in the Fort, and I know the Fort. When I get down there, it makes me sick to see what I used to call home. They've torn it apart. It's not just the people, it's just the drugs that have really created this situation throughout the entire city. Now, Matt has mentioned about the block watch programs. They are good, there's no question about it. And you have to bring the people into any activity that you have, because they are the heart of the city. And we have a whole list of items of concerns. I think senior citizens is one of them. I think what we should do is ask ourselves, no, let me correct that. We should ask the senior citizens whether or not those programs are serving their needs, whether or not they're meeting with what they want done for themselves, for their lives, for the rest of their lives. Now, I think politics too often plays a great part in the city. I think we're all concerned about who makes the plan, who makes the proposal, who puts it before the council. And if it's not in agreement or with what we want, or what I want, or what anyone else on council wants, it seems that it's bandied about. I think what we should look at is if the plan is workable and it's put before council, all the council members should look at this and say, if the plan is workable, if it's practical for the people, and it will improve the city, let's vote it on that basis, on the merits of the plan, not about who put it forth. I want to conclude really by saying one thing. Let's make our saying, putting people before politics, and make it work in a real sense in our governmental process. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Patricia Perkins. Will Patricia come in? Patricia?
Yeah. Excuse me for being late. We were out doing door-to-door. As you know, that's part of our campaign. To go door-to-door to the entire city. And sometimes you get caught up talking to people. First of all, I want to thank the South Ward Democratic Club for inviting us here. Secondly, I want to say hi to my running mates who I haven't seen all day. Hi, Orlando. My name is Patricia Perkins, as you well all know. I'm a lifetime resident of the city of Elizabeth. I was born and raised over by the Elizabeth General Hospital on Beach Street. My parents are homeowners there, and that's where I reside. I've gone through the Elizabeth Public School system. I went here to Roosevelt, and I did my high school years at the Elizabeth High School. I went on to college, and I graduated from Rutgers University with a degree in marketing. Currently, I'm working as an investment officer with the First Fidelity Bank, and I've been with them for 6 years. My reasons for running and for becoming a part of this political arena was #1 because I love working with people and I love helping with people. I think when one thinks about being a politician, they must have #1 a love for the people and a love for the country in which they live in. And I do think truly that I possess one, a love for all people and a love for the country that I am currently in. Secondly, I feel that the city of Elizabeth needs a change. It needs a drastic change to prepare the citizens and the city itself for the 21st century. I feel that we have been left behind. I work in the economic arena, so I know what happened in the 80s. All towns around here have been booming, and nothing has happened to the city of Elizabeth. I feel that we have been left in a stagnant phase for the last maybe 15, 20 years, if not more. And I think there's a drastic need for change in this city. As we see as the walls over in Russia have come tumbling down, I think we should be more in tune to what's happening here in our city and begin to come together as one people living in one city as residents and begin to take some pride in our city. As far as the port is concerned, as far as the North End is concerned, the Bayway section, we need to come together and let people know that Elizabeth is a great place to live, children and to work. It's a shame when people like myself have a love for the city, go off to college and come back and want to give something back to the city truly and cannot because there's no job opportunities here. So our number one goal is to, first of all, bring about some type of economic activity here so that you can encourage people like myself, people like your sons and daughters, your nieces and nephews, to be a part of the city, to want to work here, to invest here, to buy homes here. So our first, I guess, a part of this new change, for new answers for these changing times, was to bring about some economic activity in the city that will have people like your sons, your daughters, and your nieces and nephews to want to be a part of the city and stay here and work and buy homes and live and invest. Secondly, crime. Yes, crime is the number one issue across the nation. We saw what happened over in Los Angeles, and a lot of cities, a lot of urban areas are not from that brink of devastation. What are we going to do about it here in the city of Elizabeth? Some say we need more policemen, and I agree with that. We do need a viable police force out in the street so that we can see them. We do need a police force that goes through the neighborhood, that know you, that say, hi, I'm Mr. or you Mrs. and John, I saw your little son running home one day from school. We need some type of community liaison between the police force and the citizenship. So we are going to be about putting more police force and putting more policemen on our police force. But we're not going to use them as being a police state per se. We want to use them as being part of the community, as about bringing about some new changes for the areas and building up our little areas and our little communities. Each neighborhood has something unique in itself, and we need to begin to look at what's unique about each of our neighborhoods and begin to accept what the uniqueness is and take it from there and grow on that. I mean, a person being unique or part of a town that's unique doesn't mean that one is better or not better. It doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It means that you are different, and differences coming together can bring about positive changes. And that's what we need to do in Elizabeth. Okay, Elizabeth is no longer black. Okay, I'm sorry. It was a 2.5 minutes. Okay, just wrapping things up, I just want to say that you should vote for the Bowwitch team because we're about new changes, we're about positive politics, we're about new answers, we're not about a closed government, we're about an open government for the people, run by the people, headed by people who have visionary thoughts for the city in the years to come. So please, when you go to the polls on June 2nd, remember my running mates, and which is headed by Chris Bowwitch for mayor, Orlando, Ed, and myself, and I thank you for this time.
Past President, Elizabeth Board of Education, and
I'd like to thank the Second Ward Democratic Club, of which I am a member, for this invitation. My name is Oneida Duran. Some people say Oneida, but it's really to be Oneida Duran. I resided in the city of Elizabeth for the last 26 years. I believe I'm the one of the candidates who was not born in Elizabeth. In fact, I was not born in the United States. I chose to come here. I chose Elizabeth as my town, and I chose to be an American citizen. And in order to do that, I have to prove myself. I've been a realtor for the last 24 years. The last 20, I own my own business. I run my own real estate business in the city of Elizabeth. And of course, that gives me the opportunity to know the city from one end to the other, to know the people, to know their problems. I am an accountant. I am a custom house broker. I've been a member of the Union County Welfare Board for 4 years, one as vice president. I was the president of the Eastern Union County Board of Realtors in 1983, and the same year I was awarded the Realtor of the Year award. My name appeared in the 1989 edition of Who We Serve American Women. I've been a member of the Alexian Brothers Hospital Foundation, the Alexian Brothers Hospital Board of Counselors, 11 years with the Elizabeth Development Company, 2 of them as secretary. I've been a participant of the fundraising activities of the Union County Cancer Society. I've been involved in so many things that I'm sure I'm forgetting some of them, but that only goes to show you that I've been involved, that I've put my time to serve the city of Elizabeth as a whole. And the reason I'm running for city council is because I feel that I can put all that experience, and especially my 8 years as member of the Elizabeth Board of Education. The first 6 years as an appointed member, and the last 3 as an elected member of the board. I served as vice president and president of the board. I served for the last 2 or 3 years as chairperson of the Educational Management Committee, and I also served as chairperson of the Financial Committee, and I served together with former Commissioner Nick Soriano, who's here tonight. That, of course, gave me the opportunity to learn firsthand about budget. The school budget is 3 times the city budget, and what I bring with me to City Council is my experience, my dedication, my commitment to the citizens of the city of Elizabeth, and together with my responsibility as a citizen, which I showed being a member of the Board of Education, and I'm very proud to say that I have 100% attendance record at the Board of Education. For 8 years, I never missed a regular meeting, committee meeting, special, or emergency meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Anita. I'd like to call upon Teresa D'Erico.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to thank the Second Ward Democratic Club for their invitation and for your presence here. My name is Teresa D'Erico, and I am running for council at large on the ticket with Bob Jasper and John Noonan and Matt Vandralowitz. I have lived in this city ever since as a 14-year-old. I came from my native Italy with my family in one suitcase. I attended local schools. I attended St. Mary's High School and later Rutgers University. I got married in the city and raised my family. Elizabeth was good to my family, and that is why I am before you. I would like to get back to the committee, to the community, my commitment to better it for those opportunities that afforded me. I like the same opportunities that I had for my children and grandchildren and your children and great-grandchildren. Elizabeth has changed. Everybody is concerned with crime, with lack of affordable housing, with lack of jobs. I promise you that I will work to make our streets safer, cleaner, to bring back jobs. Elizabeth has a lot of resources. We have 2 railroad stations. We have a major, I think it's the largest container ship port in the country. We have an airport. And this area itself, the Bayway area, is a major area of transportation where commerce can flourish. I will use my experience. I have been vice chairperson of the Fair Rental Housing Board, and before that I was administrative assistant of the Fair Rental Housing Board. My life experiences as a government worker, as someone that is working to better the life of tenants and tenant-landlord relations. In the past, we have seen businesses leave the city. We have seen people pack their suitcases and leave Elizabeth. And I am committed to bring back the people, to make the city better, so that the only time we see people with suitcases is when they come back from vacation at Newark Airport and say, I'm glad to be back to Elizabeth. Ladies and gentlemen, I fight passionately for what I believe. And this I promise you. I will draw on that courage and dedication that brought a 14-year-old who could not speak English before you tonight. This is my promise.